College Crossfire spring semester season starts now.
You know, I really think that Texas fans should start buying their tickets to the Cheez-It Bowl because I think that's where we're ending up this season.
I respect the game. I'm going to get up, grab the football, go back with my teammates and give the ball to the ref.
Shout out to the tavern and the Austin Gooners. No, not that type of gooner.
Get out of my face. I've seen enough out of you.
It is a pleasure to be back on the greatest debate show on the 40 acres, College Crossfire. I'm your host, TJ Krulwitz, and I'm delighted to be back from our winter hibernation and to have the talent we have on the show tonight. But before we get into the first round, I want to share that today's show is brought to you by Cap Metro, Austin's transit system. We connect you to work, school, play, and everywhere in between. So plan your ride anywhere in Austin this weekend at capmetro.org. For those who have never tuned in before, here are the rules for tonight's show. There'll be 3 rounds containing 3 questions each. For every round, I'm going to dish out points in the amounts of 3, 2, and 1 based on our contestants' answers. Whoever has the most points from their answers by the end of the 3rd round will be crowned as this week's College Crossfire champion and will get the return for our next episode. But there's a catch. Everyone must know before we begin our 3rd and final round, better known as Rapid Fire, is worth double the points, meaning no lead is safe. Also, our contestants have not yet been able to see or prepare for these questions whatsoever, so they'll have to think on their feet and come up with their idea of the best possible answer. If there's a tie by the end of Rapid Fire, I have a bonus question ready that will help determine our Crossfire champion once and for all. So now that we've finally reviewed the rules, let's introduce our contestants for tonight's show. So on first base, he likes to bring up his viral moment on this show last semester as much as he can. He's also the 1-0 executive producer. Please welcome back Santiago Ortiz.
I really don't like to brag, but I would just want to say that I was given the last point on that category, and I lost by 1 point. I'm here to get my get back.
No. I'm glad that you've told the audience that because I think you've told me that plenty of times in the last few months. So glad to have you back on, though, Santi. And on second base, she's back for another chance at winning her first College Crossfire. Please welcome to the show, Emma Wallace.
Yeah, I'm happy to be back. I'm just hoping to do better than I did the first time. I think I will. I'm going to answer every question this time.
Yeah, no more. I'm not a big fan of this sport. It's like my biggest pet peeve, but you had a great time. Sorry. And at third base, one of the contestants of the Tournament of Champions last year and a depressed Cowboys fan. Please welcome back Aidan Urbach.
Yeah. Thank you, TJ. I love how you added depressed Cowboys fan because that's actually how I feel right now. I woke up this morning, I still saw Dak Prescott on the Cowboys payroll, so I'm very depressed. And George Pickens, unfortunately, is not going to be with the Cowboys next year.
Oh yeah, I kind of agree with the latter, but I don't know about the Dak Prescott statement. We're gonna have to get back to that after the show. So now that we've introduced our contestants, though, it is finally time to start the show. Starting with question number 1. The Texas men's basketball's second season in the SEC has been a bit of a seesaw. While they've had some solid wins, they've also had some not-so-solid outings, and they just lost to Auburn today. While we still have so much season to play, Texas right now is considered a bubble team for March Madness. To you, what seed do you think Texas will be at the end of the season, and why? You can also say that you don't believe they will make the tournament. Santi, we'll start with you.
Yeah, well, I personally believe that this team is going to sit right at the 11. They're going to have to play a play-in game. I think the offense relies too much on one-on-ones, and they rely on guys like Dylan Swain to just get open, guys like Tremont Mark. There's not enough fluidity throughout this offense or team chemistry for me to be really confident in them, especially after what we watched tonight, choking, I think, a 14-point lead against Auburn, who has not been a great team so far. So I think they're going to have to really dig deep. They have a favorable home schedule with the remaining season, so I think they can sneak right in there at 10.
All right. You said 10 or 11?
10.
10? Okay, 10. Emma?
So I actually don't think they'll make the tournament. Last year they were able to squeak in at the number 11 seed, but right now I have them going for I have them going 4 out of their next 8 games. I think they're going to end the season around 16-13. I don't think they're going to be able to pull off the wins they need to pull off, especially how they performed against Auburn today, showing that even if it's an unranked SEC opponent, they just can't get it done. They were able to get it done against a ranked SEC opponent like Georgia, but when it comes to these need-to-win games against unranked SEC opponents, they just can't do it. So I think they're not going to be able to win the games they need to win to get into the tournament, and I think either they'll just squeaky get and be the last team let in, or they're just not going to make it this year.
Yeah, they definitely have an issue of playing to their opponent's competition this season. Aidan?
Yeah, I don't know what Kool-Aid Santiago Ortiz is drinking, but I mean, it must be good. I'm actually a realist here, and I believe that Taco Fall is going to come back to UCF, has a better chance of coming back to college and finishing his degree than the UT Longhorns have at making the March Madness tournament. Currently, they're 3-5 in Quad 1, and Quad 1 is the metrics that the committee uses to determine if a team gets in to the dance. They're 3-5. They have 7 Quad 1 games left on their schedule. I mean, they're in a tough conference this year. I mean, and then their points, their interior defense is terrible. Every time Matas Vogatias is on the floor, usually, teams will say it's a starting 5. Whenever he's on the floor, it's more of a starting 4. UT's not going to get it done just because of their Quad 1 record right now. It's losing. They're below 500.
Okay, all right. I get what you're saying there. Santi, what's your favorite Kool-Aid flavor?
I'll go with grape.
Grape? I agree with that. And that's why I'm going to give you the 3 points here. I'm going to have to go with the 10 seed here. Look, I get that the quad, they're playing down to their opponents and all this stuff. They got the SEC resume. They have some solid wins so far. I think they're respected, but they're not trusted. And I think that gets them into the tournament right now if the season ended today. So, Santi, you get the 3 to start off today. Emma, I'm going to give you the 2 right here for this round because I do like that you've talked about how they've had some good wins, but they've also had some bad losses. They just keep on going back and forth with this. Aidan, I'm going to give you the 1. I like your presentation with the answer. Keep that fire. All right, keep that fire. You're going to get some points eventually with that, all right? And now
With the Taco Fall thing, I do think he's going to come back.
Played in an NBA game though. So
yeah, that's the issue right there. All right, moving on to the next question. Moving over to the women's side, we already know that the team is making the tournament, obviously, but they have hit some rough patches in the SEC play as well, losing 2 road games to South Carolina and LSU, and currently sit at 4-2 in conference play. With 10 games left and multiple top 10 matchups still to be played, like OU, Vandy, and a rematch against LSU, what will be Texas's record in their last 10 SEC games of the season, and why? Emma, we're going to start off with you.
I went the optimistic round for this. I think Texas can win out their next 10 SEC games, and here is why. They're going to play LSU at home. When Texas lost to LSU, they only lost by 5 points. I think the Longhorns come out at home in Moody, and they beat LSU. Close game, yes, but I think they're going to win. When I was looking at Vanderbilt, which I think is their next closest opponent in SEC play, I was looking at common opponents the two have had. They've both played South Carolina. When Texas played South Carolina, they lost by 3 points. When Vanderbilt played South Carolina, they lost by 29 points. I think that Texas is going to be able to come out. They're going to be able to beat Vanderbilt. And then OU, their next closest opponent. Texas has been great in rival games so far. They beat the pants off of A&M. I think they're going to come out and beat OU. And I don't think anyone else in the SEC is going to give them any type of trouble.
All right, 10-0, starting off hot with this one. Aidan?
Yeah, I actually agree here. I think they're going to win out, and and a part of it's just their home record. I mean, 13-0, speaks volumes of who they are as a program. They have a week off, so going into Gainesville, I think they're going to get it done there. And then, of course, they've only lost 2 games as well. They get Aaliyah Crump back into the starting lineup. She's going to add some 3-point shooting, something that they've lacked over the past couple games. I think that's been the reason why they've lost to South Carolina and LSU. They're getting it done. They play LSU at home, like Emma said. I think they get it done there. And then they play Vandy, which might be their biggest competition. But Vandy, their only loss was to a South Carolina team where they got blown out. Texas lost by 3 points against South Carolina. I think they get it done here. I mean, there's a lot of seasoned veterans. I think they get it done. Vic Schaefer has proven himself time and time again as a great program head coach.
All right, and Santi, round us out here.
Yeah, I guess earlier I was drinking like grape Kool-Aid, but now I think I'm going to go to like the cherry and be a bit of a Debbie Downer here. I think the Longhorns, it would be impressive if they go 8-2. I mean, they have an absolute pantheon of a schedule. They're going to be playing a lot of these, I think 6 ranked opponents in their last 10 games, with a lot of games on the road, specifically against Vanderbilt and Tennessee. I think they lose one of those games, and The first women's basketball game I went to was Baylor in Texas, and Kim Mulkey low-key owns Texas, so I think I'm going to have to pencil her in for a win against us. So I think 8-2 is what I'll go with.
Kim Mulkey owns Texas.
Low-key.
Low-key. Just low-key. All right, I get it now. Again, man, with this Kool-Aid, I mean, I like the flavors, first of all. Second of all, I think I'm going to have to give you the 3 points again, and that's just because I have a hard time saying 10-0 for a team right now. It's really, really difficult to go 10-0, win 10 straight games in basketball, especially with the competitive schedule that they have and the competitive conference that they're in. So, Santi, I'm going to give you the 3 here for this. I think... I don't know. You guys both kind of virtually said the same thing.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to go with I'm going to go with Emma again for the 2 here, just because I think that you brought up the important parts about the South Carolina competition between Vanderbilt and Texas. You brought that up first. Aidan, I'm going to give you the 1 here, but I don't want to. If I had a choice, I would give you some more points because I do like the injuries. You brought up the injuries and all that, but unfortunately, just the 1 right now. Still a lot of game left, and moving on to the next question. Back when we had our last show, the Texas football team had just beaten the undefeated Aggies at DKR to end the regular season. Since then, the team has played in the Cheez-It Bowl, beating Michigan, and had the team broken, then pieced back together by the transfer portal. With that being said, what player that transferred out do you think will have the biggest impact on their new team? And also, what player that signed with Texas this transfer portal do you think will have the biggest impact for Texas this season, and why? It's a very packed question, but Aidan, you're starting us off.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Quintravion Wisner. I think he's going to have a bounce-back year with FSU. FSU was number 11th in the run game last year. Their running backs head coach has seen 1,000-yard running backs everywhere he's been for the 4 years he's been at FSU. He's going to have a great year. FSU is somewhere that knows how to establish the point of attack. Quintravion Wisner, he's seen it all the way dating back to his freshman year when Jaden Blue went out. He just showed you what he can do out of the backfield and as a power runner. Now I'm going to go with the Texas side. I'm going to go Cam Coleman. I think he adds to that passing game arsenal. I mean, he has the size, the stature. He's great with his hands. He's someone, and then along with Ryan Wingo. I mean, this is a air raid attack that we saw, TJ, in the second half of the season that was almost, detrimental to teams. I mean, Vandy couldn't stop them, and they were number 9 in the country at that point. I think Cam Coleman just gives them an edge, and I think Texas is going to be great in the pass game due to Cam Coleman's X-factor ability.
Yeah, Texas definitely has a knack for getting some pretty good wide receivers in the transfer portal. Definitely not talking about you, Isaiah Bond. Santi?
Yeah, well, I mean, Isaiah Bond was pretty good for the first 3 games. He was injured for the end of his tenure at UC. But I'm going to have to agree here with Aidan. I think Cam Coleman is a pretty obvious pick here. The guy makes 50-50 balls, 25-75. And for him to finally get to establish a rapport with an NFL-level quarterback like Arch Manning, I think that's going to be huge, along with Sark's offensive system. And then for the guys leaving, who I think are going to make the biggest impact, I'm tempted to say Jamie French at Michigan, but I think that the real biggest impact is going to be, unfortunately, Parker Livingstone at Oklahoma. He's going to come in as a top target for the not for the Longhorns anymore, for the Sooners. But I think he's going to get to establish some rapport with John Mateer, and that's not really an offense that has had a number 1 wide receiver, and I think that he's going to be able to make a big splash over there for OU.
Mm-hmm. Well, it depends if he's going to be Mateer's roommate like he was with Arch Manning. If you didn't know that, by the way. I know.
I didn't know, actually. I just found out.
Yeah, all right, Emma.
Okay, so I was tempted to say Parker Livingstone for the transfer out, but I just had to look at Oklahoma. They were a CFP caliber team this year. I think they have some other weapons there that I don't think Parker Livingstone is going to have the biggest impact. I'm going to say DeAndre Moore Jr. at Colorado. I think Colorado is a team that needs big offensive players, and I think DeAndre Moore Jr. can be that for them. He's great on the offense. He was good for us, and I think he'll be good for them. And a team that has just been slowly getting a bit better since Coach Prime took over, I think DeAndre Moore Jr., they're getting better. They're not great. They're getting better.
Coach didn't show up to practice today.
They're getting better. Stop. I think he's going to be good for them. And then I guess I'm going to have to say, for my last one, for the very obvious answer, I have to go Cam Coleman. He was the most sought-after transfer in the portal. He is going to fill the hole that Parker Livingstone and DeAndre Moore Jr. left at wide receiver. I think he's just going to be great for the Longhorns, and I see him doing good things for our team this year.
I got you. Yeah, I'm not surprised that all of you guys picked Cole Kaman. I would have had massive respect if somebody said Rasheed Biles or someone like that, but I get it. I think right now it comes down to the teams that are, or the players that are leaving. I think I have to go with Trey Wisner. I'm going to have to go with Aiden's 3 points here. Obviously, he did not have too good of a season this year compared to his past seasons, but I do think that he's going to have a massive impact for Florida State right now. And I also think that it's just detrimental that Texas. It was just very unfortunate that Texas lost basically their entire running back room. Sorry, y'all. The 2 points I'm going to give here is I'm going to have to give it to Parker Livingstone here and you, Santi. I think that he is going to be pretty good for Oklahoma. I think he's, going to come out for revenge possibly against Texas in that Red River game. And I'm all right with DeAndre Moore. I think that that's a good answer, but I do think that it's just with Parker Livingstone and Trey Wisner, they're just a little bit higher on that list for me right now. So that's going to do it for this block. This was a great way to start the semester, but when we come back, we will have some questions about the championship games last weekend of the NFL, and we will talk about the NBA and NHL seasons. We'll be right back with some even better takes on College Crossfire.
There's going to be creativity.
Welcome back to College Crossfire, and after an entertaining first round, the leaderboard right now has Santi in the driver's seat with 8 points, and Emma and Aiden trailing right behind him at 5 points. But we aren't even halfway done, so let's get started with round number 2. First question. It was 11 years ago we saw Malcolm Butler win the Super Bowl for the Patriots over the Seattle Seahawks, and now both teams are back in the Super Bowl in our lovely year of 2026. The Patriots were able to go into Denver and beat the Broncos in a dogfight while the Seahawks defended home turf against the Rams. To you, what player in the championship games was the MVP and why? This does not have to be on a winning team, and you have to just pick one person. Aiden?
Yeah, I'm actually going to take that. I think my player's going to come from the losing bracket, and that's Matthew Stafford. He almost threw for over 400 yards against one of the most formidable environments in the 12-man stadium in Seattle. Seahawks were one of the best home teams in the league going in the regular season. Matthew Stafford just was tremendous against defensive pass rush that was number 6 in the league to end the year. And this was just a great bounce back performance Chicago, he was basically just invisible, I mean, you could have thrown in a running back, and he could have probably played better than Matthew Stafford. But Matthew Stafford was a great win. The reason why he lost was the defense could not bail him out against the offense. Seattle was 7 of 11 on third downs, but Matthew Stafford was my MVP.
All right, Matthew Stafford, not a bad pick. Emma?
I hate Matthew Stafford. Okay. Hate him.
Wow.
Hate him.
Wow.
No. I have to tell you why.
The kid from Highland Park.
I have to tell you why. I have a reason. I have a good reason. Okay.
All right. Spin it.
Okay. I'm gonna have to go with JSM from the Seattle Seahawks.
Okay.
He's been great for the Seahawks all season. He had a solid game He rushed. He had 153 receiving yards, which was 43% of the team's total receiving yards for that game. He almost had half of their total receiving yards for that game. 10 receptions for 1 touchdown. Could he have done more? Yeah, but when I was looking at the QB comparisons, both of them performed practically the same. So as a guy, someone who stood out on offense for me was JSM for that game.
Yeah, and they obviously didn't need him too much for the San Francisco game because they blew him out of the water. But coming from his production in that game to this game, big step up for JSN, the number one receiver in the league right now. Santi?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the same team, but I'm going to go with the guy who's feeding JSN the rock. I'm going to go with Sam Darnold. I think he was just really poised throughout this entire playoff run for the Seahawks, and you got to love his story, man. Coming from a former top draft pick, failing with the Jets, failing with the Panthers, being a backup for the 49ers, and now making it full circle here. He really, against the Rams, I thought that he was very accurate with his throws, and he was very quick. He had a lot of intentionality, which is something that you need to win those championship games, and that's a lot of pressure. And for that guy, I mean, starting in his first ever playoffs to take his team to the Super Bowl like that, I was really impressed.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you, Santi. You're going to get the 3 points again here, but you just keep coming back with the greatest takes here, honestly. I'm going to have to go with Sam Darnold here because you talk about his 4-interception performance against Los Angeles earlier this year, coming back, bouncing back, and winning this game against them. Big step up for him, especially talking about how he has kind of struggled getting to his point in his career right now. He's finally starting to flourish. I have to give you the 3 points here. I think I'm going to have to give Aiden the 2 points here for Matthew Stafford. I do really like the Jason answer, but I liked how you brought up the road conditions for Matthew Stafford, having to play against a very, very hostile environment in Seattle. And so I'm going to give you the 2 here because he did really good. Jason, great performance again, great bounce back from that San Francisco game. I think he'll have an amazing Super Bowl performance. So another question where everybody had great answers. Move on to the very next question, which is the NBA. So the trade deadline is around the corner for the National Basketball Association. And while this deadline will undoubtedly be less crazier than the last one, the rumors are still swirling, and names like Giannis Antetokounmpo, big news today, look like they're going to probably trade him by next week. And Ja Morant have been some of the players that could be the next to switch cities. So to you, what team in the NBA should be the most aggressive this deadline to help them compete come playoff time? Emma, we'll start with you.
Okay, so I have the Phoenix Suns. They're currently sitting at 6 in a very competitive Western Conference. I think their offense is wishy-washy back and forth, and their defense is middle of the field. I think they need to come out this trade deadline, get some good players that they can put out there, strengthen their offense, strengthen their defense, so that they can just get into that 4 or 5 seed, help push them into the playoffs, help push them in a better spot for a good first-round performance.
All right. I was kind of not expecting to hear the Suns. I like that take. Santi?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Detroit Pistons, a team that only 2 years ago was the worst team in the NBA. They're finally atop the East. Their coach, J.B. Bickerstaff, is going to be coaching the East in the All-Star game. And I think that Cade Cunningham is a great number 1 star, but I think he needs a wingman who can help him, specifically a guard that can create a little bit of space. They have great big men like Jalen Duren and Isaiah Stewart. I think the Pistons, this is their time before they get hit by that second apron. I think they need to go all in.
And talk about a team that has just dominated, that hasn't seen this kind of winning in a really long time. First seed in the East. Aiden?
I'm going to go with not the San Antonio Spurs, the Chicago Bulls here. The Chicago Bulls across the months of December and January are 14-13 right now. They need a strong backcourt presence. I think Ja Morant, that's just a great city for him, first and foremost, to that. And they have a great front court. They're one of the best rebounding teams out there. They have great draft capital This is not going to hurt or hinder their cap space right now. I don't know why everyone's laughing. The Bulls are actually 9th right now. They're literally one game back of overtaking the Magics at the 8th spot, and they're right there at 500. I just think they need backcourt presence, and John Morant's going to give them that.
I don't know why people are laughing at it. I think that's a very serious answer.
That is.
Look, Chicago, I just don't think that they're going to be able to compete for a championship this season, even with a John Morant acquisition. I do think that they'll probably be in the play-ins once again. I don't know if they'll be aggressive, but you know what? They should, maybe try to get out of the play-in once in every, year or so. So, unfortunately, though, I'm going to give the Suns the 3 points here. I do think that that's – look, whoa.
Thank you.
I could go with someone else.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
I think the Suns is the best answer here because they are in the middle of the West right now, and the West is extremely competitive. I don't think a lot of people expected them to be competing this year, and so if they were able to get another piece or two in the trade deadline, they could actually come out as a real competitor out of this Western Conference. I'm going to give the Pistons the number 2 here because you did talk about the hard cap. I think that is a great point for a team because you can really get, taken down by that hard
Boston
cap.
Celtics.
The Boston Celtics is a good example of that. So I do like the answer of the Pistons. The Bulls. We're going to move on to the next question. I'm glad this week all 3 of the contestants know so much about the NHL because we are going on the ice for our next question, sort of. So last year, the Four Nations Face-Off was a big success and just showed how competitive and emotional hockey can be how hockey can be played when playing for countries. While the Canadian team took it all, this Winter Olympics could be much different as Team USA is looking to get their revenge. Other countries, however, also could give these teams a run for their money a little bit. So in your opinion, who takes gold this Winter Olympics, and what player on that team makes the biggest impact? Santi, we're starting with you.
Okay, yeah, cool. Last round I was low-key drinking Kool-Aid, but now I'm going to drink some maple syrup. I think Canada is going to take this. It's going to be very close, but I think Connor McDavid is just the needle. He moves the needle for me, and he's one of my favorite NHL players. I think Canada is going to win. They stack up really well against the U.S. team specifically.
I always tell people that you're like a huge Connor McDavid fan. Yeah, I do all the time. Aidan?
I'm going to go with Nathan McKinnon. He was the MVP in the Four Nations Cup last year, and he helped propel Canada win their silver medal in last Olympics, where he scored 6 goals in that competition. I mean, this is a guy that just provides that veteran experience. I think Connor McDavid's actually making his debut in the Olympics, as I've heard.
He actually is, yeah.
Well, Nathan McKinnon's not, okay? And Nathan McKinnon is, he's a great player, and he's a cornerstone for that Canadian team that's going to win gold.
All right. And Emma?
Canada's winning gold, no chance about it. You got Sidney Crosby, you got Nathan McKinnon, you got Connor McDavid, you got Mitch Marner, you got Brad Marchand, you got Jared Bednar in goal. Love him, one of my favorite goalies. Canada is stacked. Sidney Crosby at captain. Captain Canada, golden goal. I love Sidney Crosby is going to lead that team to victory. No chance about it. Team USA didn't even take the top American-born goal scorer on their team. Team USA did not stack their team right. They didn't take the people they needed. Team USA is not beating Team Canada. I'm going to go with an odd one out here. I think Macklin Celebrini is going to be really good for Team Canada this time around. He's been great these past 2 years. Hey, he has proven he can play with the big guys in the NHL. He's one of the top goal scorers in the NHL right now. He's absolutely electric. He's on a hot streak. He has proven that even when his roster changes, he can still perform. So I'm taking Macklin Celebrini.
Took the words right out of my mouth there. I think Macklin Celebrini is the right answer here. Look, young superstar in the making. He had a dominant performance on international games just a few months ago. I don't know why people are looking like that right now in the crowd. I'm going with the 3 points for you. I wish somebody would have said USA or something different than Canada, but I know it's the obvious answer. Number 2, I'm going to go with Aidan's pick with Nathan McKinnon. Look, Connor McDavid is the best player in hockey right now, but I do like that you brought up the Olympic experience, how much goals he had. Hey, look, you did your research. Congratulations. That's some good research, Number 1 point, Connor McDavid. I think it's the very obvious answer, and I'm sorry to give you the one here, but I think that the 2 other answers were just a little bit better. All right, so 2 blocks are down and only 1 to go. Rapid fire is coming up, and you will not want to miss it. Stay right here for the ending and to see who will be crowned the College Crossfire champion this week. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We have made it to the last and final round, rapid fire. Once again, all questions have not been prepared or seen by the contestants. So it will be all gas, no breaks from here on out. Let's get right into it. While this question is a little outdated, we don't have any crossfires in December, and I feel like it would be wasteful not to ask this question. So bowl season, it's filled with a ton of fun bowl games and names like the Pop-Tart Bowl and the Cheez-It Bowl. Whether you have Master Chief from Halo handing you your trophy or you get mayo poured all over you for winning the game, each bowl game has its own specialty that make it unique. So if you were tasked with making a new bowl game, what sponsor would you pick and how would you make it special and different from the others? You guys can have some time to think about this one.
The Jello Bowl. I want a Jello Bowl, and I think that the winning team's mascot, I think when they win, they should wheel out a giant sculpture made completely out of Jello of the winning team's mascot. I want to see the winning coach get Jello poured all over them.
Wouldn't it just like
Yes.
get, like ricochet
Yes.
though? Like not really
Have you seen the cartoons where like if they like the blob and it like just goes on their head?
I don't
like I'm imagining just Jello and their head just stuck in it and it's just like that. I think that every time they score a touchdown, we should throw Jello everywhere. I want a Jello Bowl, y'all. I think it'd be fun.
I was automatic. You were ready for that one. That's a good. All right.
Okay.
Still thinking?
I'll go with little crowd help here, but I'll go with the Nickelodeon Bowl, and we go with slime, similar to what you see in the NFL. They have the MVP, like Mitchell Trubisky won, in that infamous Nickelodeon playoff game. That was awesome, by the way.
Yeah,
I often reminisce on it.
Commentating
Yeah. We get Patrick Star, we get SpongeBob in the booth, we get Sandy out there even, and we can be like sliming everybody during the game, and I think it'd be dope.
Okay. All right, Aiden.
I love Powerade. So instead of Gatorade, it's Powerade. So they just dump it on their players. You know how they dump Gatorade on their? It's just Powerade. And I really like Powerade. Yes, Powerade. If I can have a sponsor, that'd be great.
That's very convincing.
Yeah.
I think that they. Oh boy.
Powerade.
We got sound
Powerade.
effects for this answer. Oh boy. All right. Well, we got Nickelodeon Jello and Powerade for this. I think I would go with like the Buc-ee's Bowl. I think that would be
I
kind of
love
big brisket
Buc-ee's.
sandwich.
Ooh,
But
Buc-ee's.
all right, yeah, we're gonna move on to the next question. Again, I won't say who won those points. We'll have to reveal it at the very end. So, the Winter Olympics are next week, and unlike the Summer Olympics, there's a lot less variety in the Winter Games. So this is kind of a quick question, but to you, what sport is the most entertaining to watch for you in the Winter Olympics, and why?
Skeleton. It's that one where they're on the yes skeleton. Have you seen? It's one of the most deadly Olympic sports. I'm not kidding. It is so
Deadly.
It's that they're like on the sled just by themselves.
Oh.
Wait, yeah.
Is it like bobsled?
Yeah,
But like.
but it's by themselves. It's by themselves. They're on a sled by themselves. It's so entertaining because half of them wipe out. Half of them wipe out. Half of them don't even make it. So you just watch people wipe out after wipe out after wipe out, and it's so fast paced. So you don't have to wait a lot of time. It's like 3 seconds and they're done. They're just.
That's in the Olympics. I had no.
I love
actually
it.
no clue. I
Skeleton
thought
is
it was
so
not a-
fun to watch, y'all.
That's okay. All right. Good start. Good start. Aiden.
I just saw the movie Cool Runnings with John Candy, and I was fascinated with bobsledding. I'm an avid fan of the Jamaican bobsled team, and that's why they're great. Bobsledding is just fun, just going down super fast, with a slope. It's just very exhilarating and fun to watch. I truly love it. It's a great sport to play, and most countries are like from Scandinavia, but Jamaica too. I mean that's pretty interesting.
Nice.
Yeah.
I do like that. All right.
I'm gonna have to go with snowboarding. I think snowboarding is always sick. I love seeing the flips. As somebody who can't really get out there and do that, I have to respect the men and women who are brave enough to go out there. And I really like snowboarding. I think it's really entertaining.
All right. Yeah, good answers all around from you guys.
I'm not hating on you on that.
It is time to move on to the last question of Rapid Fire. So, a lot of the NFL fans don't like the fact that the New England Patriots have made it back to the Super Bowl for the 10th time this century. While the Patriots have been the most successful franchise, there has been multiple franchises in the NFL, and quite frankly in all of sports, that haven't even been close to sniffing a championship appearance. So to you, we're gonna start hating this last question. What team in all professional sports would you want to never win a championship ever again, and why would you not want them to?
I'll start off with the Golden State Warriors. I just despise them. I really disliked a lot of their players. You know, I kind of come around to Steph Curry. He's a pretty respectable guy, but really don't like Steve Kerr, don't like Draymond Green, never liked Klay Thompson. Really don't like Brandon Pajensky. That guy needs to stop talking. So I'm going to go with the Golden State Warriors.
All right.
If the Dodgers never win another baseball game again, it will be too soon. The Dodgers should never even sniff the playoffs again.
What did they do wrong?
They're really okay. I hate the Dodgers.
It is true, but
And Shohei and Mookie is likable.
I love this city, but I hate the fan base there. The New York Knicks. Okay, I don't like Stephen A. Smith. I think Stephen A. Smith is. Well, I think Stephen A. Smith is the best when his teams are not happy, and I can't stand the Knicks. They are a nuisance to the sports world, and I think us as a society is better off without them. Yeah, I just don't like them, and yeah.
all right, the Knicks, Warriors, and Dodgers. All right. I was expecting some people to have some like real personal reasons, but I get it. I think that this was, well, yeah, I don't know. So, anyways, all right. I'm glad. I would have picked the Eagles. I'm glad all of you guys decided to spend your Wednesday night with us tonight for College Crossfire. So, you know, fantastic show all around, but as we all know, there can only be one winner. And that winner right now is, drumroll please, welcome to the win column, Santiago Ortiz. Got some FaceTime?
Thanks. Yeah.
We didn't get a yes. All right.
Thanks so much, CJ. Really glad I could come out here and finally finish the job. So let's go. We went 1-0 this semester. Shout out.
1-0. Hey, yeah, 1-0.
Shout out the 1-0 Sports Show always.
Shout out to the 1-0 Sports Show. And we'll see if you can make it 2-0 next week. Congratulations on winning, and we'll see you back next week, obviously. So that was an impressive showing, and I congratulate you on the win. Thank you to everyone who makes this show possible. From the contestants to the in-studio personnel, all the people in Master Control, especially our executive producer, Gabriel Silva. And to you, the audience, thanks for watching. Remember to tune into our other shows here at the TSTV Sports, or at TSTV Sports, which include the 1-0 Sports Show on Fridays at 11 and College Press Box on Tuesdays at 6. We're glad you joined us here for for College Crossfire, and we hope to see you next week to watch Santi try to defend their title. This has been TJ Krulitz. Have a great night.